I hear from you, you spineless cowards, is how poor you are. How you can't afford my taxes, my protection. And yet somehow, you've all managed to find the money to hire a professional gunfighter to kill me. Where's all this money coming from? What am I to think? If you got so much to spare, I'm just gonna have to take some more off you. Because you clearly haven't got the message. This is my town. If you live to see the dawn, it's because I allow it. I'm in charge of everything. I decide who lives or who dies.
All right, folks, we're back here talking another Western. This time from the mind. When you think of Westerns, I know we all think of Sam Raimi. But, good on him. Sam Raimi was just done doing the Army of Darkness, I think, and I think he was worn out with the Evil Deads. Wanted to try something different. This was an era where he would start trying movies like great baseball movie called For Love of the Game. He'd do The Gift. He'd do A Simple Plan, and he'd do The Quick and the Dead. I like that. And then obviously from all those titles, he got a good relationship with Columbia and ended up doing Spider-Man.
Do you know who it was got him on board for this and actually picked him?
Gene Hackman.
Nope. The producer, Sharon Stone. Apparently, and also the star, apparently she was given a list of potential directors by the studio, and the only one name she picked from the list was Sam Raimi, because she really enjoyed Army of Darkness.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
We are.
Yep.
we made fun of Sharon Stone when we did Peak Someone's Minds. It was a terrible film. And the diva she was. But I did say on that podcast that when in the 90s, once she did Basic Instinct, things started changing, going her direction. And I think this was hot off her Oscar for Casino.
Yeah.
I'm not
sure. It was around the same time, I think.
But she did all these films. Last Dance is one people forgot about. That's quite good. And obviously Quick and the Dead. And
Total Recall.
Casino. And yeah, she kind of came and went, Sharon Stone, really. Like most bands in their decade. Hers was the 90s, and then she kind of faded. But she's still around. She still does stuff, of course, and she's still fairly active. But she's not the household name she was in the 90s. She kind of had her moment. And I like the fact that when she did something like this, which is completely kind of outside the ballpark. And also, it wasn't a good time for her to do this because I think they're piggybacking on the success of Tombstone, which just came out about a year or so before.
There were a lot of Westerns around this period.
But they all bombed. Mm-hmm. So that's why I thought, especially the women's ones, there was one called Bad Girls with a huge cast, Madeline Stowe and I believe Drew Barrymore. I can't remember the rest, but it was kind of like a young gun. It was like a Young Guns for women.
Yeah.
Tanked, big box office bomb. And none of the Westerns really that came out resurged did that well. Besides, obviously, Tombstone. Wyatt Earp would come out, was tanked. Then you got Wild Bill came out, which bombed. You had Geronimo come out, which was fairly well received, but didn't make the money they thought it would. So it was still very rocky. And this didn't do well.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I don't think this did very well.
No, but it certainly has its following now.
Yes, and rightly so.
A lot of people do enjoy this film. And we're just going to jump right into it.
I would say about Sharon Stone as well, though, I have never rated her as an actor. And I actually, well, as we discuss it, we'll talk more about it. But I find her, I know this is a sort of comic book, sort of pulp spaghetti western take, but I find her out of them all here to be the weakest link. She's okay in some parts, but I find her hard to take serious. I think one of the big problems with her here is she's too good looking, because everybody else in this town looks rough as shit, with bad teeth and all that there, and she looks like she's just stepped off a catwalk. That's a big problem. But also, I think her acting it's not up to scratch, especially when she's playing along with the likes of Gene Hackman, Russell Crowe, and Leonardo DiCaprio. But anyway,
I think. I think that's what she's good at.
mhm.
And what I mean by that, she's good at surrounding herself with more established actors.
But she's supposed to be the star here.
Um, Now, she is the star. Russell Crowe is a newbie.
Yeah,
This is his first American film, and then DiCaprio was new as well. He was just kind of finding himself, and he's
she.
not very good in this. DiCaprio's actually DiCaprio is the worst actor in this,
I disagree. I
and
actually like him. I think he's very good.
I don't think so at all. I think at the very end he kind of finds his footing
Yeah,
during the final showdown, but when you have Keith David, Lance Henriksen, Robert Blossom was a great character actor, Pat Hingle, who I love to see,
Jigsaw.
Kevin Conroy always plays a pig,
Yeah,
Tobin Bell, you got Jigsaw,
yeah,
and and of course Gene Hackman. So she surrounds herself. Same thing with Casino. Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro. You can't really
but the thing is,
you can't fuck that up. But she deserved the Oscar for Casino. I do want to say that.
yeah, but I mean, okay, Casino's more of an ensemble cast, whereas she's meant to be
Well,
the
so is
star
this.
here. Well, yeah, but she's meant to be the star, you know. Whereas Casino, it was De Niro, was the star.
Yeah,
Of it.
I know. They're both top billed, Sharon Stone and Gene Hackman. I don't think Gene Hackman was the star here. There's no way.
Yeah.
He was hot. He was hot at this time. So
Oh, he's just a
there's no way
brilliant
he wouldn't
villain
be on there.
here, you know. But to be fair to Stone as well, she's obviously a very shrewd businesswoman because and very, you know what I mean. She knows her stuff because not only did she handpick Sam Raimi, but she also handpicked Russell Crowe, who was a complete unknown, certainly the American audiences anyway, and also Leonardo DiCaprio. I believe that she actually paid his acting fee, essentially, his salary for this out of her own pocket, just to ensure that she got him.
Yeah, she went on to produce some stuff. She's not an idiot.
No,
She knows her stuff and she
yeah.
knows her craft. She was never the greatest actress of all time, but she's come a long way since King Solomon's fucking Mines.
Well, yeah. Well, to me, my favorite role of hers, which I think she's great in, is in Total Recall. You know.
Oh yeah, consider a divorce.
No, which is really good as the sort of the nasty sort of ex-wife with a secret.
She's good when she plays villains. Basic Instincts, you didn't know what she was. Was she the good girl or the good girl, the bad girl?
Yeah,
And when she did Last Dance, it was kind of that way too. But she did a movie called what was it? It was a remake of Diabolique. I think it was called Diabolique.
possibly.
Um,
Yeah, it sounds
based,
familiar. I don't think I've seen it.
yeah, she did a remake with Charles Palminteri, and she was good in that one too. I actually enjoyed the remake. It's not as good as the original French one, but still, I still kind of enjoyed it. But she did that too. So she always did other outside projects to prove that she was more than just look between my legs, for Basic
Yeah,
Instinct,
I
which I
think
think she regrets.
I
But
actually think she's good as the film progresses here, especially in the finale. But I she just looks out of place in this town where everybody
well, the
is.
problem is, if that's true, then that's on Sam Raimi.
Well, she was the star and producer, so he was never going to get rid of her. You know what I mean? you know?
No. No. What I mean is the way she looks.
Yeah.
Now they could be playing off. She's a guardian angel. She's coming into town, and she's this beautiful. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Stranger
They
comes
could
to
be
town,
playing that.
but yes, Guardian. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They could be playing on that.
She just looks out of place in the old west, specifically this town, and it distracted me. She's got like really well moisturized skin. She just looks almost perfect. And the rest of them really don't. Intentionally so.
Well, let's jump into it. We'll take it from there. We got Sharon Stone as Ellen, Russell Crowe as Court, Leonardo DiCaprio as the kid, Tobin Bell as Doug Kelly, Robert Blossom as Doc, Lance Henriksen as Ace, Keith David as Sergeant Catrell, Kevin Conroy as the creepy fucker Eugene,
Yes,
Pat Hingle as Horace, and of course we got Gene Hackman as Herod. Now we all know Herod. The name is
from the
from the
Bible.
Hebrew Bible. It means fountain of trembling or spring of trembling, which in layman's terms it means fear.
Well, also King Herod in the Bible was, of course, the baby killer. So it sort of ties in with that as well, and also, well, he kills his own baby, his son, which eventually as the film goes on.
Yeah. Um, what happened here in the beginning here when the dog Kelly shoots? He's digging up looking for gold or something,
Yes,
and she's coming along. He shoots her. Was he going after him initially in the first place, or
I don't think so. No, I think that was just a coincidence where she's going to the town of Retribution,
okay?
and she just
So
happens to
he
cross
shot.
her. Yeah,
Okay, so he shot first, asked
yeah.
questions later.
I think it's
Okay.
just really setting up basically her first gunfight with him, in the competition for him to challenge her.
Yeah, because it just seemed to come and went. But yeah, it's a data dump, I guess.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's really just to set things up for her, especially to fight him in her first fight in the competition.
Now, like all these characters that come in, they all
Yeah.
have their quirks, so they all have their. It's like we kind of talked about that with Dark Man.
Mhm.
Everyone has their specific thing that they do.
Yeah.
Like you got Scars, who puts a notch in his arm every time he kills somebody. You got Ace, who always puts an ace of spades in his deck
Yeah.
every time he kills somebody. You've got the hired hitman, Sergeant Cottrell. You've got all these different characters, and they all have this quirk that they do to
Yeah.
kind of
And we'll
and
have Russell
obviously
Crowe as Court.
yeah, he's technically the priest, and then
Yeah.
you have I love the first volunteer, Sven. Man,
Yeah.
this Sven Ole Thorson. We have talked this man more times on our podcast than any other actor.
And again, once again, in
Um,
a film with Russell Crowe, I love whenever he volunteers himself and goes, "I was the champion in Sweden," and they all bust out laughing at him.
yeah, wow, good for you. He's Goodson. He plays Goodson.
Yeah.
We got Spotted Horse, who has taken hundreds of bullets and still survived. You got the kid, which is the kid, Leonardo DiCaprio. You got Eugene, who's the pedophile, creepy little fucker,
Yep. Hmm.
and you got Virgil. But yeah, this cast is really really fun. And the great thing about the film, the first half of the film is comic booky, right? You're having a good time
Yep.
with it,
Hmm.
and you have these odd characters like Dick Tracy villains, and you
Hmm.
have some fun dialogue, campy fucking dialogue,
Oh
but
yeah,
it's fun. And Lance Henderson chews up the screen. He knows what
it's
he's there to
brilliant.
do.
Keith David as well.
And what's that?
Keith David as well when he appears properly.
Oh yeah,
Scene
yeah,
stealer.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a great scene when he's having dinner with Gene Hackman.
Yes.
And so, but you have all these great characters, and you're going and having a good fun. It's like, and it's what people want to see in a western, the draw.
Pure
It's the
entertainment,
showdown, right? But
and it's all yeah,
this whole film is about the draw. The whole
yeah.
film is about the quick draw competition. They get $123,000 if they win, and it's once a day they have to fight, and you have to fight if you're chosen, and it's just good
It's
setup,
basically
good fun,
yeah.
and what the film eventually does though, even though you're going with it, it does turn quite dark,
Hmm. Hmm.
and especially with Harry and his son Leonardo DiCaprio, the kid, and with Eugene and what happens with the girl.
Yeah, I mean,
Big,
basically, for the first sort of half, essentially, it's every Western cliche you can think of and more is thrown into the mix, along with all these wacky characters, brilliantly played by the cast, right across the board, and but also not but along with all this here, and making it really entertaining and a sort of homage to spaghetti westerns. Raimi is still putting his own touch in it, when he does the sort of montage things, after the first day's shooting, where you see the montage of like the guns floating through the air and people getting shot and people giving sort of, snarling faces, close ups of eyes and all that sort of thing. It's just, I just love this sort of stuff.
yeah, I mean that's all a trope to spaghetti westerns.
Yeah,
When you see the first gunfight, and then the music's getting and the clock's ticking, and then the whistling happens, and then you zoom into his eyes, zoom into her eyes, zoom
yep,
into his eyes, and the town, and the one of the guys closes the windows and the shutters.
yeah.
It's gunfight time, and yeah, what he does in those quick shots before a gun goes off, he's pretty much paying homage to everything you've seen in a western before then. That's
Yep.
everything that happens in a western. It's a copy and paste,
But
but
at the
that's his
same
point.
time, still putting his own
I do think he makes
identity
his
on it.
own
Yeah,
more. I do think he makes it more of his own, the Sam Raimi touch, with the actual killings that we
the
eventually
point of
get,
view shots.
with the bullets going through
Yes,
the chest, and you can see the light coming through his chest, and
yeah,
over the top, what a bullet would never do.
yeah.
That is Raimi's
Oh
touch.
yeah, yeah. It's the point of view shot, but the point of view of a bullet going through someone's head and stuff. It's great.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, it's got, I the only problem, the one problem I had with it was Sharon Stone, and not necessarily her fault, more of the way the character's written. There's a scene where she first meets, we first meet as well, Court,
Yes.
and and then Herod's making him sign up
Yeah.
for the fight. And as we know, Herod and him have a past, and he doesn't want to fight anymore. He's given up since Herod made him kill the priest at one time.
Hmm.
So that's where their anger. That's where their he was. He was.
Their conflict.
Yeah, it was conflict. He didn't want to kill the priest, but Herod put a gun to his head, saying, "You need to kill the priest."
That's
And this
right.
priest got done helping them, save their lives and everything, and he never bounced back from that.
He
And that
renounced
is a dark
violence.
story. Yeah, it's a dark story for quite a comedic film. I don't say comedic, but
Tongue in cheek.
dark comedy,
Yeah.
tongue in cheek. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah. So he puts him on the stool, and he's going to shoot it down. And this is where I got confused, because Sharon Stone's father dies this way.
Yes.
They're shooting the chair, and she's there to get revenge on her for killing her father, or making her accidentally kill her father.
Gary Sinise.
Whatever
Yeah.
which way you want to take it. But that would have been my trigger if I was her. I would have killed him. I would have shot him right there and moved on. That was her whole vengeance right there. She had him. And the problem I have with this, she should have taken the shot, because this scene should have been played later on to be more of her trigger than the beginning of the film, because of the fact that that's the trigger. That's what killed her father. She'd be going nuts if she saw this again, but she doesn't. She saves his life by doing so. Um, but she doesn't react, and she should have.
I know what you're
So
saying.
but the problem I have with this, it happens again in the dinner scene when she has him in the crosshairs. He can hear the click of the gun. It's a great scene, but she doesn't do it.
It is
She never really.
explained, but it's not. It is a sort of a cop out, where she explains. I think it's around the time of the dinner scene, or shortly after the dinner scene, where she says that she's basically afraid. And in fact, it's actually a sort of, it's the sort of polar opposite to what Gene Hackman, Herod is saying at the dinner scene, where he's talking about his own father, who was a judge, and, playing Russian roulette with him and the family before,
Yeah.
blowing his own brains out. And Gene Hackman, brilliantly delivered, says, I've never been frightened by anything in my life since. So, yeah, it is explained where she has got these opportunities. She has had these opportunities to kill Herod, and she doesn't take them. But because she's basically afraid, and apart from her father, which she's killed as a child accidentally because of him, she's not. I don't think she's actually ever killed anyone.
Okay. Must be a hell of a shot.
Yeah, yeah. But yes, it is. I know what you mean. That would have worked better. The scene in the bar at the start with Court would have, I think, worked better later on. But yes, there is. It does sort of tie in with the way her father was killed by Herod.
I love the gunfight between Ace and Herod. We just talked about the Unforgiven, and this kind of reminded me of English Bob
Yeah,
versus Little Bill,
yeah.
because we find out Ace is kind of a liar.
He's a fraud
He's
as
just a
well.
showman.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a fraud as well. But I love when Neil Lance Henriksen is playing with his mullet. He's all badass.
He's
It's
brilliant.
so over the top and camp. It's great.
Yeah. And
And
when Herod kills him, I love how the townsfolk rob his dead body.
you know, it's in like a half a second. He's in his underwear.
Yeah, exactly. He's not, you know what I mean? He's still warm, and they're like sort of, but to do that with other bodies where they're robbing like gold teeth out of people's heads and stuff, it's just, yeah. I mean, all of this is pure cliche, but it's just so well done, and by Raimi, You know, and there are very few directors who can do stuff like this, homage, but putting your own sort of touch on it correctly. And Raimi is definitely one of them. That definitely here.
You have, like I mentioned, the film goes very dark
Yeah.
eventually, but they have to plant the seed, and they do it well with DiCaprio's character, the kid, when he does his first kill against our boy Sven,
Yes.
and he doesn't kill him, he just wounds him obviously because you don't have to kill the person at this point.
Yeah.
You don't have to kill the person; you could just wound him. Um, and the way he behaves, very childlike, and he's good at what he does. He's a good shot, but he's naive,
Yeah.
and this is going to be his downfall. But the reason this character is so kind of, and I think he plays it childish, and maybe that's what I'm saying, not in acting. I just say it like very childish, but he's supposed to because at the end of the day, he is a kid.
Yeah, he's only like 15 or something. You know what I mean? He's a stupid, dumb, naive kid. So and cocky and arrogant, and it does become his downfall. And you do feel sorry for him.
Oh, he gets to sleep with Sharon Stone.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. What's going on there, Sharon? What are you doing? Are we going low? Oh, how old were you there?
Well, this is it. She's given shit, and rightly so, giving shit to Kevin Conroy's character for being a dirty old man, and basically a pedo.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
But she's technically, well, not even technically, she has done the same with DiCaprio's kid character.
Well, this was consensual, at least.
Yeah, well, I suppose, yeah. But,
yeah, I'm like, ooh, there you go. What's going on here?
Depending on which way you look at it, yeah, she has arguably done the same thing as the Kevin Conroy, dirty old man, as she calls him. You know.
Well, they actually don't say the kid's age, so I guess we can give it a pass.
Possibly, but who knows?
I do like the little scenes that I like that add up when Herod goes to get a gun for our boy Court.
Yes, he gets him the shittest one.
Leonardo DiCaprio is showing him all the guns and stuff at the general store there, and all these beautiful guns. And as he's describing each beautiful gun, you literally can see Russell Crowe licking his lips.
Yep.
It's almost like a wolf licking his lips before its kill.
It's like dangling a whiskey in front of an alcoholic.
Exactly. No, that's what exactly it is. It shows that.
Yep.
And Herod sees this. He's not stupid.
Herod's doing it on purpose.
This is stuff people need to see.
Yes.
He's doing this all on purpose.
Yep.
And to tease him, to get that animal out that he wants.
Ultimately,
and
what Herod wants is for Court to basically be his mate again and be back in his gang, being his like right hand man, going about robbing and killing people. You know, he wants the old Court back, but Court doesn't want that life anymore. You know, he has renounced violence and he's trying to walk a spiritual journey. But Herod would do anything to get his old riding buddy back.
Love when he buys him a cheap gun, right?
Yes,
$5.
Yeah, because he knows even though he wants him in the competition, Herod's not stupid either because he knows, you know what I mean. Go too far, give him a good gun, unloosen those handcuffs, unchain him, he'll run amok, quite possibly.
And that's why he only gets one bullet.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So the first fight, he's fighting nobody we never really met, but it's a great little shot because. Again, piggybacking on what we just said about he's licking his lips as he's seeing all these guns being given. Look at him. Same thing happens here. It's just reflexes.
Yeah.
He doesn't even realize he's shot. His hand barely moves.
Yep.
And he shot this guy. He doesn't kill him. He just wounds him. But he just gives the one, and it's just reflexes.
Well,
it's just in his nature. It's in his nature, I think was what Herod says.
In many, absolutely. And in many ways, although the realization here is completely different, Court, played by Russell Crowe, has a similar story arc to William Money in Unforgiven, played by Clint Eastwood, in that he has a dark past and he's trying to renounce violence and take on a different path, a more enlightened sort of spiritual path. But, you can never escape your past. So
yeah, but he's not. Money would be more of the Herod character.
Oh, yes.
I mean, would have been because but Russell Crowe is never did anything harm.
Well,
He killed the priest, yes, but to protect himself. He didn't want to do it, so that was more forced to do that. But he was just a soldier. I
yeah.
don't think he's got the background as money.
Well, no. I mean, obviously there's differences there, and certainly the intensity and realization is completely different, and the tone. But there are similarities there, where a violent man wants to sort of change his ways, and walk a more sort of I don't know, more moral road. You know.
We got the Harold and Ace fight. That was
Yes.
a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shoots him. This is where he kills him. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier. Um, then you got Ellen, who's going to fight Dog Kelly, or you guys know him as Jigsaw.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's, he- um, yeah, he's going to fight him, and I like when Court says to her, "Don't listen for the chime, listen for the strike,
That's right.
because once
There's a
the
click.
strike hits, it gives you that
That
half a
age.
second,
Yes. That's right.
and
Yeah.
just close your mind, listen for the strike." Um, because she, and then when she does, she walks past him and goes, "Thank you."
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the dinner scene I really enjoyed. We just talked about this real briefly, where she's got the gun under the table and they're talking, blah, blah, and then she cocks the gun and he can hear it. See, these are little mistakes he makes because you want to be careful. You don't want him to hear that. So it does show, kind of piggybacking what you're saying, that she's not a pro at this.
No,
She's good at shooting, but she hasn't shot anybody. She doesn't
she's not
know
a killer.
really. Yeah, you can't he's not a she's not a killer. She doesn't, she's not as cunning as a hitman would be. So she's going to make mistakes like this.
And
But when
also,
she cocks the gun and he pauses and hears it, that's where he tells the story about the father playing Russian roulette with the kids,
yeah.
and she pretty much tell her nothing in this world frightens me anymore.
And in terms of this conversation the two of them are having, Herod is, through his experience and everything that he's went through and the sort of person he is in complete control, and it's like Hannibal Lecter talking to Clarice Starling. You know what I mean? He is about 20 moves ahead in this chess game. He's holding all the cards at this point.
Well, it's the same thing when the next scene where Herod's talking to the sergeant,
Yes.
and he's asking, "So where are you from?" and blah blah. And he goes, "I've killed 17 men. I'm paid to do what I do. I do it well." And so he pretty much knows that. I mean, he's on to everybody what they're doing. It's his town. He
Yeah.
says that.
Mhm.
And there's a great line when all he says to Sergeant is, "So what happens next?" He goes, "Well, as soon as the rain stops, I'm going to make an example of you."
That's right.
And they both kind of start chuckling at each other. I just love that line,
But
and he does it
oh,
so
great delivery.
calmly, like it's
Yeah.
yeah.
And I also love
But
how
I do think he did take a lot of his character from Unforgiven and put it in this one,
Oh, I would agree.
100%.
Yeah, I think he's even admitted himself. It's essentially the same character, but more tongue in cheek from Unforgiven, if you know what I mean. With a bit of more of a
Yeah,
nudge and a wink to the audience. I do love whenever after he's killed Keith David, where again just showing that he's obviously he's miles ahead of them all. He's about 50 moves ahead of them all. He then turns around and says to the town who the townsfolk who he's been treating like shit for years, says, I know. He basically says, I know that you have for all of your moaning about not having money and me taxing you too much. You've had enough to pay this guy, to hire this guy to attempt to take me out. You know.
yeah. He even says, "Looks like I might have to raise the taxes."
That's how much of a bastard he is. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a douche.
Yeah. Again, brilliantly played.
Um, I do like the scene finally where Sharon Stone has lost the plot a bit, and that's when we pretty much find out Eugene has raped the girl.
Yes.
And Pat Hingo, who's obviously her grandfather or father, he's the bar owner,
Yes, that's right.
um, looks very quiet, reserved, and shy.
He's a card.
And he's not a coward. He's just scared. I mean, you said the same thing. In this kind of world, people are going to be scared
Yeah.
to defend themselves.
Hmm.
You said that with Unforgiven. It's the same concept, really. And so, but she's had enough, and she's just fuck it. We're fighting now.
Yeah.
We're not doing this little wait for the clock. So they're next scene they're outside fighting each other in the pouring rain, and but she shoots his dick off,
That's right.
and see, that's a very Raimi thing.
Oh yeah.
Shoots his dick off, and then he said, Gene Hackman comes out of his house. He goes, "You need to kill him, or this duel isn't done.
Mm-hmm.
You disqualify. You need to kill him because that's the new rule. You got to kill him now." And so she decides not to do it, but obviously he comes into the bar, gun toting, with his dick off, and she blows him away.
Yeah, she spurs him whenever he's begging for his life out in the street, but then he comes back
Yeah.
to get sort of, basically to shoot her when she goes back into the bar. So she's no choice but basically spin around and bump him off, essentially.
And she would have killed him
Mm-hmm.
initially, but it's when he got involved, when Herod told her to kill him, you have to kill him.
Yeah,
She wasn't going by his rules.
yeah,
And the only reason she killed him again, what killed him, is because he came after her again. She had no choice.
yes, exactly. She, at this point, she was trying to, prove not just that she wasn't going to obey Herod, but that she wasn't like him either, and that she had some mercy, even for someone who was basically a paedophile who deserved it. You know?
So this is what causes her to leave.
Yes.
She just can't do it anymore. She can't see this man for what he is. She doesn't think she's up for it. Even when she went after Eugene in a fit of rage, what he did to that girl, it was sloppy.
Yeah.
So she's no Court and she's no Herod, and she's probably no kid either.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is where she's starting to see all this, and she doesn't know if she can handle it. So she leaves. She fucks off to go to the supposed gravesite of her father.
Yes.
But yeah, I like that scene when she goes to the cemetery, and we see Doc, an actor I like to see. I always remember from Christine. He's the one who sold Christine.
Mm-hmm.
He tells her, "You always come here. I'm the one who I gave birth. I was your doctor when your mother gave birth."
Yes.
But I got to tell you, Ellen, he's down at the cemetery. After he was buried, they destroyed the tombstone and then took out his remains and burned them.
Yes.
And that is where she's like, "Okay, fuck it, I'm done."
Yeah. Back to town.
Now
vengeance.
that was the final nail in the coffin. Pardon the pun.
Yes, and then obviously she's
I do like
having the flashbacks and stuff.
Yeah, it was Gary Sinise.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I do like the scene where was it Spotted Horse?
Spotted Horse.
I can't remember his name.
Yes.
Spotted Horse. He got a guy he's taking hundreds of bullets, and he's got to fight him, and he shoots him, and he's like, "Oh, thank God," because he only has the one bullet, and then he keeps telling you, "But I need a bullet, guys."
Well, this is
he's
actually a
getting back
very
up.
important scene because this is actually the point where Court has actually embraced his old ways again, and he's actually he's back on the Valence train because whenever the guy's Spotted Horse, isn't it? Yeah, whenever he's lying or injured, because obviously he doesn't die, or it takes a lot for him to be killed. He's taking that many bullets. He's going, I need another bullet, I need another bullet. So, yeah, and again, the tension running throughout this film, especially in the dueling scenes, is really well handled by Raimi, but still in a fun sort of way. Tense but fun at the same time.
Yeah, we talked about this with Raimi with Darkman, where he's kind of a first-time action director, and he does it quite well. And this one, he uses quick cuts quite well without cheating.
Yes.
Quick cuts can usually be used to be lazy.
Yeah.
But what he does, the blind kid is going through his bullets and he's trying to feel them, what one he needs, what one he needs.
What one would fit
and
in
he
the
tosses
gun.
it.
Yeah.
Yes, so he tosses the right bullet to him. But we see him catch it, and then it quickly cuts to Spotted Horse getting shot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was just to go. It wasn't a cheat like, oh, we don't have to show all this, blah blah blah. It was because how fast he is. The minute he got that bullet in his hand, he fired that gun. Well, that's how fast he is.
Exactly.
And that's why he made that cut like that.
Yeah, exactly. And again, the fast editing, the fast sort of filming, it ties in with the fastness of the scene and also how quick Court is essentially with the gun and with the way everything's happening. It all works great. Almost like done. I don't want to say done, in a sort of quick edited way like a music video, but obviously much more slick and professional and effective than that would be.
Ellen and Court, there's a love scene
Yes, I know.
between them. That wasn't in the American version.
It's in the version I have.
Yeah, they put it back in. I hate it.
It's random.
Sam Raimi says he said yeah. He says I removed it. I don't know why it was in there.
It,
I mean, she already slept with the kid. Now she's sleeping with him.
it's kind of pointless.
It it doesn't. Yeah, it's pointless. It doesn't fit, and it should have been removed. So I watched it again. I saw this version. I was like, wait a minute, this wasn't in the version I saw. It doesn't work. And I'm gonna be honest with you. There's really, I like both of them, but there's really no chemistry between these two,
No,
and I don't think it really
I,
works.
th-
It
I
does.
don't think it's
There's
needed.
chemistry between them. There's chemistry between them in certain aspects of where the characters' journeys are going, but the love scene was out of place and it just didn't fit what was going on between them.
It's just very random. However, I will defend the inclusion of this scene for one reason, and that is because blink and you'll miss it. We get a Bruce Campbell cameo, in this sort of brothel scene. Apparently he's one of the guys that she pushes out of the way whenever she's going up the stairs to see Russell Crowe.
Well, they could have had that scene without the sex scene.
Yeah,
She could have grabbed him because they're about to plan something. We find out, um, and they're gonna do fake her death,
yeah.
and so that you could have used it for that. This love scene was absolutely pointless, and it was
No,
just
it
to put
is.
Bruce Campbell in it.
It is
That's
too random.
and it was just to put Bruce Campbell in it. That's a shame that
I
Sam
don't
Raimi would do
think it
that.
was.
I don't think he meant to do it. I don't think he wants to see it in there.
Yeah, yeah,
But the studio has
yeah.
it in there.
No, I know. But no, I would agree. It is out of place. But I'm actually a bit. I mean, it could be down to shooting conflicts or whatever, with other films. But I'm actually disappointed. One disappointment I would take away from this would be that Bruce Campbell doesn't have a proper role in it, because he would be perfect for this type of film. You know, especially with Sam Raimi
I
as old
think
mate.
Yeah, but I think at this point he was trying to get away from that. I
Possibly.
do because he's worked with Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, and Darkman. All of his films have featured Bruce Campbell,
And the ones
and so
following. Yeah.
I think he just no, I don't think he does it for the gift. He doesn't do it for a simple plan. He doesn't do it for. I think he has one for love of the game, but
He's in the Spider-Man
I don't think
films.
he does it for. Yeah, but he doesn't do it for these ones that are going outside the box for him. He
I would
doesn't.
have to watch The Gift and A Simple Plan again. But yes, but I do think, I understand what you're saying, and maybe that's what was going on with Raimi at the time. But this is the type of film that Bruce Campbell is basically made for.
Yeah, the quirky characters, he would be perfect as one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do think that's what he was trying to do.
Hmm.
Branch out a bit. So yeah, so they fake obviously Court fakes killing Sharon Stone, and obviously the doc who's the one who makes the call if they're dead or not, and he knows her, so he says, "Oh yeah, she's dead."
Yes,
So everyone's involved, including the blind kid.
that's right. And the
And
dynamite that is basically we see at the start is obviously, at the start anyway, that it's going to come into play.
yeah, you got a shootout now between our boy DiCaprio, the kid, and Herod.
Yes.
And now this is the scene where how well the movie's handled with going in different directions and taking that darker take where this kid, he was just like I mentioned before, he's naive, childlike, um, never really had a proper upbringing. So he gets shot in the stomach and he's sitting there crying.
Yeah.
This tough kid is
Hmm.
now crying. Well, you think he's tough, just like our boy,
And
the kid from
yeah, in
he's
Unforgiven.
called the kid
Yeah, they're both called Kid.
from the Unforgiven.
I would say as
So
well. Yeah, go ahead.
when he's finally he finally knows he's dying, he goes, "I don't want to die.
Hmm.
Did I get him? Did I get him?" And she said, "Yeah." Well, he did get a shot in. He
Yes.
did shoot him in the neck, but just wounds him. And he he reaches out to his father, and he doesn't reach out to him. And all his father says he was it's never proven that he was my son. That's the only thing he
I know,
says.
but at the same time, there's also, you see a brief glimmer of regret in Herod's face, because he.
Well, he does always tell him
back out.
Get out of the fight now.
He gives him a chance. He even says, "I give him a chance to back out," and he didn't take it. But then after, it's almost like a defense mechanism, I think, with Herod, where he knows that he's done wrong, and he is. There is part of him is regretful about it. But to put on a brave face in front of the townsfolk, he says, "It was never proved he was my son anyway." You know what I mean? It was believed that he could have been the farmer's son.
Yeah.
Great scene. And you feel so sorry for the kid.
Yeah, it's a good scene.
And it's also the way it's done. Whenever you first watch it, I've seen it before, years ago. I have it on DVD, but the first time you watch it, what basically the kid, you don't actually see the kid shot in the stomach yet. He goes, "Oh shit, that was quick," and you think maybe he's talking about himself, his own shot, because you just seen that he's actually shot Herod in the neck. But then actually the camera pans down and you see he's actually talking about the gunshot that's killed him and went through his stomach. Just again, back to the great, fast, quick editing and quick cuts.
Yeah, he's very good at that, and it does. The scene it plays out very well.
Yeah.
It's actually the best scene between those two characters
It's almost
that
emotional.
we do get from anything from Court and Ellen.
Yes, and it's of the entire film, it is by far the most emotional scene.
And so the showdown with Ellen and him, it's just so, she shoots and you see Herod and you just see I love how he shoots, where you see the shadow and then you see the bullet hole.
Yeah.
In the shadow.
Yeah.
Going all the way through
but
his
all
body.
The explosions are going off at beforehand, obviously.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and yeah, and then he just finally loses it, and he raises his gun up, and then she blows his head clean up, and then he does like a backflip. It's so stupid.
It's completely unrealistic, That's it. It's basically he does a backward somersault, and you can actually see the bullet hole right through his body, which would obviously never happen. But you know what? This isn't The Unforgiven, and it's not meant to be,
Yeah, this is a Sam Raimi Western, really. It's a spaghetti Western with a Raimi touch.
Yes.
And that's pretty much all it is. Quirky, fun characters and memorable characters, with decent backstories and decent
it's pulp.
Full
circle it's a pulp Western.
Stories.
Yeah. And greatly entertaining.
Yeah, it's a good time, guys. If you haven't seen The Quick and Dead, a lot of people have. They just forget about it, I think is what's happening.
Yeah,
it's nice to have this podcast to be able to tell people that it's out there again. Because people will see this now when we post it, and they'll go, "Oh, God, I forgot about The Quick and the Dead. I might watch that again."
Exactly.
And that's kind of some of the purpose of why we do films, why we're not doing the blockbusters all the time, or why we're not doing this. Well, because we do want to get films like this, another, let people have another second look at them.
Definitely. Especially in this case.
They definitely...
Yeah,
it holds up. It holds up.
Yeah, and I always found it very weird that it has been forgotten over the years, and I would say grossly underrated, because to me it's just thoroughly entertaining. But that's the way these things go.
Well, it always got good reviews.
Exactly.
It was never panned.
Yep.
But that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
It just didn't. It didn't fall at the right time, or it fell in a time where there was too many westerns coming out. But there you go.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this one up. Up next is The Bone Collector, Denzel, and directed by Philip Noyce and our girl Angelina Jolie. So I remember seeing it and enjoying it. It's got a Seven-esque kind of feel to it. And we'll jump into that one next. Give us a shout at Instagram on CitizenFrame_podcast, and of course on Facebook. We're going to wrap this one up, y'all. See you, by y'all.
Yeah. You sounded like you were just Ciaran was just out of the town of Retribution. Yeah, right. After winning a gunslinging competition,
the town was Redemption.
Is it not Retribution? No,
it's Redemption.
Right. I stand corrected if that's true.
That you really, really showed your wow.
What about Russell? So on the subject of Russell Crowe and Oscars, right? But yeah.
Anyways, we want to thank you, and you guys have a good one, and we'll chat soon.